We welcome you today. We are Angela and Veronica. Today is a very difficult day in ministry and in life in general, that we even have to discuss the severity of what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be very, very revealing, and I pray that you open your eyes in regards to this story we're going to share with you today, that has impacted not only our personal lives, but that, if we're not careful, can impact your life. So this is about defending those who can't defend themselves. We're here today so that we can hopefully save some young people, some babies. So, Veronica, you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, so I've written out, what I want to share
Sure.
and this whole story that we're going to share today. So we're going public with this story. We wanted to share this for a long time. And I just want to start by saying that friends of ours who are journalists told us that the best defense against defamation is the truth. And my brother, who is a lawyer, who graduated Harvard, confirmed this by saying, yes, truth is a defense. So that's what we're doing today. We are sharing the truth in our experience as we know it. We cannot, with good conscience, keep this to ourselves anymore and allow others to be at risk. We got to share what we know. First, because we're human beings who care for others. Secondly, because it's our duty as responsible citizens of the United States. And most of all, because if we are servants of God, our responsibility is to protect others. So we'd rather put ourselves at risk than for others to be at risk. This is by far the hardest thing we've ever had to share, and don't want to, but we feel we need to. So if we can save a family from the heartache we've endured, if we can warn parents and churches around the world, then we've done what we've set out to do with this. So,
and it's extremely difficult to share this subject matter because we're not the only ones that are dealing with this. And I pray that the others will watch this and get bold and be brave, because God told us in His Word, do not be afraid. Okay? So we cannot fear man, because the fear of man is a snare. So we have to help those who can't help themselves. And sometimes when you see something in your life that's devastating your life, you have to speak out against it. Ephesians 5:11, we don't partake in unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. So, you know what? We're not afraid. We are bold because young babies are at stake here. And we're dealing with this in the United States, that everybody claims to be legal and free to do whatever you want. Well, I'm here to tell you, it may be legal and free, but it's not right. Okay, sometimes you have to decide what is right and what is wrong. And I think some people that we're going to talk about today, they know the difference between right and wrong. They're my age, 65, 66, whatever. It comes a point in your life where you have to step up and say, you know what? I'm not doing the right things, and I repent. Anyway, so Veronica, you want to continue on, baby?
So we're doing this for our daughter, who was 10 years old at the time when this began. We're sharing this because of the children who are the most vulnerable and for the parents. And this is for all Christians who go to church in a public setting, and that's going to make sense as we get into this story. Our intent is to protect the innocent and expose works of darkness, as Angelo mentioned. If we do not stand up against evil, we inadvertently become a part of it. So we're doing this in the public interest, which means for the welfare and for the well-being of the general public and society. and to fight for a child who cannot fight for themselves.
Correct.
So this all started in 2009. We were invited to lead worship in Huntsville, Alabama. We were there from 2009 to 2010. Our daughter was 9 years old. I remember a man in his 50s approaching Angelo after church service. He made friends with my husband, Angelo here. And after church, the pastors would take us out to lunch. The pastors didn't have an objection inviting him to eat with all of us. It's important to note that, this might kind of sound wrong, but it's just unfortunately the way it is. The group of people who went out to lunch afterwards mainly consisted of the church leaders.
Leadership, yeah.
So we were under the impression that this man was trusted by the leaders. I remember some of the lunches, and one time specifically that I remember, because of the seating arrangement in the restaurant, the man sat with our children instead of the adults. And at the time, we didn't think anything of it.
No, because we trusted the leadership. Yeah.
So a couple of years later, we led worship in another church in Huntsville as well. Okay, so now, mind you, we're driving from Tennessee to Huntsville, Alabama. And so the second church we were at from 2011 to 2013. This church was started by the assistant pastor of the first church. Okay, so now this man showed up again at this new church plant that we were now singing and leading worship at. So again, the pastor would take us out to lunch afterwards with the leadership. And one day, we came outside after church, and I remember this very, very specifically. This man had our daughter, she was around 11 or 12 at the time,
years old,
in his car.
Right.
In his car. So there was just something that went off in me. It was just like, wait a minute, there's something is off here. And as she was sitting in the car in the front seat with this man, I asked her to please get out of the car and come with us so we could go to lunch. But you said it was okay.
I said it was okay because I felt the leadership, if there was something wrong with this man, they would have told me. Said, look, I don't think you should let your children be alone with this guy, and so I just trusted that. I mean, that's what a good church person does, right? You submit to authority. You let the leadership help you and guide you, right? So if somebody in leadership sees something wrong, they should tell you something is wrong. They shouldn't just ignore it. And this is my son and my daughter we're talking about.
So I felt really uncomfortable, and I was embarrassed that our daughter basically refused to get out of the car, and nobody said anything except for myself at that moment.
That's right.
And in my strange thinking at the time, I was like, okay, well, let our son also go with this man, and it was like in my warped thinking, I thought, okay, this will protect her or something. And our son is only 3.5 years old.
No, hold on. It's not warped thinking. You're a mother. It's instinct. A mother knows best, really. I mean, and shame on me for not paying attention to the Holy Spirit, okay? Because I didn't hear from God as it pertained to this situation. And this is for the men who take their families to church every Sunday in these corporate churches of America. Be very, very mindful of where you drop your children off. And I just want to make a point here. People see Veronica looking down. She's reading what she wrote, and I want her to read what she wrote because we don't want to miss any detail of this story. It's extremely important that she gets everything that you wrote down, Veronica, out
Yeah.
to the public.
Yeah. So I asked our son to please go with his sister and this man instead of us to the restaurant. Our son said no, he didn't want to go.
No.
He just was like, and I was really uncomfortable about this man inviting our 12-year-old daughter to ride in his car over to the restaurant without our permission.
And
You
also,
know?
to be very clear, he made it clear to me that his intent was for my children. And that was not the case.
When I asked our daughter to get out of the car, the man said nothing.
Mhm.
He didn't say anything like, hey, listen to your
It-
mom. So the same alarm went off in me when this man came all the way from Huntsville, Alabama, an hour and a half trip, okay, an hour and a half to 2 hours, I want to say, to pick up our kids and take them out.
To the movies and to dinner, to the
I
mall.
don't even know how this happened.
Hmm.
And I would ask Angelo,
It
I
was
would
my
ask
fault.
him, why, every time I said, why is this man coming here? Because it didn't even fit into my brain.
Okay, in my brain, I thought, hey, this guy is a really nice dude. I mean, he cares about my children. He wants to take, we were struggling financially, and we had some difficulties. So, we couldn't just take our children to the movies and dinner whenever we wanted to because we just couldn't afford it at that time. But that's no excuse. You leave your children at home. I didn't heed the word of my wife or God. I'm to blame for this. Go ahead.
So you assured me that this was okay, that this man wanted to take the kids out for fun. But I was very
Correct.
uncomfortable with this. But by the time I even knew about it, the man was already on his way to our home. It was just a very, very strange thing. And I don't know why I didn't even know about this or have any say in this, but all I can say is that is how much my husband trusted this man and believed he was harmless.
Right.
And again, in my warped thinking, I somehow thought our daughter would be fine
Mhm.
as long as our son was there as well. Our son is 3.5 years older. So in 2015, we started our own ministry here in our home. And this man came when we first started
Mm.
and expressed interest in our church. So this is the third ministry that
He followed us
he's
too.
followed us to. Yeah.
And he wasn't following Angelo and Veronica.
So we even have proof of this in one of our videos from 2016.
And understand, this isn't just us sharing this story today, like it happened yesterday. This has been going on for a long, long time.
So I even remember one night specifically, the man was here in our home, in our living room,
Hmm.
and we both prayed for this man
Hmm.
right here,
Hmm.
right here in our living room.
Hmm.
Afterward, he said he told you that he had problems sleeping, but that after we prayed for him, he was suddenly able to sleep.
Yeah.
So after singing in these two churches from 2009 to 2013 in Huntsville, Alabama, we moved out of state, but we came back to Tennessee in 2015. After we came back to Tennessee, this man came again all the way from Huntsville, Alabama,
Hmm.
again to take the kids out. Oh boy, I think I was ready this time. I remember one day, this one particular day, that our son could not go. So I told Angelo, I told him, I said, absolutely not, no way. She cannot go alone with this man. I said,
She's a
absolutely not.
baby.
Yeah. She was about 15 or 16 at that time. But I remember sitting at my computer and noticed the house was quiet. I got up from my desk and I saw nobody was in the house, including our daughter. She was gone. So, and Angela, you weren't there either, but I called you on the phone and I was frantic.
Mm-hmm.
I was shaking. I was crying.
So where's our
And I
daughter?
said, "Where is our daughter?" And I said, "Please tell this man to stay away from our family."
Mm-hmm.
At that very moment, I knew what I knew. I knew what I knew. And I was like, this is very, very, very wrong and very strange and something very wrong is going on. So, but I calmed down, and after our daughter came home, I asked her. I said, I was calm, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be calm. I'm not gonna make a big fuss. And I said, well, what did you do when you were out? And she told me that he took her to a movie, which is the first red flag, and that the movie was about a man who kidnapped a young girl. This is exactly what she said to me,
Wow.
which I don't know if that's true or not. Because some years after that, and I'm going to get to this, the man gave a conflicting story of what they did when they were out alone that day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after Angelo sufficiently warned this man to stay away,
Correct.
we did not hear from him for a long time.
Yeah,
And we thought he was out of our lives. So now fast forward to 2020. Our daughter's now 20 years old. She got married to a man and moved out of the country. So a couple years after she married, I remember having a conversation with her. This is like a FaceTime conversation. And she asked me, she brought up this man's name. And she says, well, what do you think of so and so? And I was just like, I was beside myself. I was visibly upset. And I don't exactly remember what I said, but I was stunned, and I was really, really upset that she even brought this man's name up. So we realized at that point that this man had never stopped reaching out to her.
Nope.
Okay? Our daughter, unfortunately, got divorced in 2023. Okay? We were really sad about that.
Very sad. Yeah.
So after the divorce, our daughter did not want to come home. So that was like, wait, what? She didn't want to come to our home. She was speaking to this man again, and
Mm-hmm.
he offered to get her an apartment in Huntsville, Alabama,
How nice.
and that he would pay for it until she got on her feet. We very much discouraged this, of course. At this point, we realized, wait a minute, she's listening to this man
Right.
more than she's listening
To her own mother and
parents.
father.
Yeah. So we spoke to him to tell him, please tell her to come home with us. Okay. And, we didn't want to speak with him, but we spoke with him anyway. He was very much on the defense. And we were like, okay. And this is when he actually told me about that day when they were out by themselves. Our son could not go. And he gave a conflicting story of what happened that day. In that conversation, he also bragged to us how he gave one of the pastors a large sum of money
Mm-hmm.
for our family. Very interesting.
Well, what's interesting because this is one of the tools that these people use to get to your children. Money. They use any kind of way to influence the leadership because these churches are under a 501c3. They do their tithes and offerings, and they take up money because that's how it's business. I get it. So this is how this guy got his hooks into the church that we were attending at the time. Anyway, so go ahead, baby.
So finally, she came home against her against her wishes. I mean, and she had an attitude to show it that she did not want to come home. But you know what? Nevertheless, we were happy that she was home. We knew she was safe. And she shared, and that week, and those actually, she was only here about 10 or 11 days. She shared many things with me. And I want to say it was awesome. It was really awesome. Um, but I remember that she said to me, I remember distinctly, she said, there's something that I cannot share and that I have to take to the grave. And so everything was fine. Everything was fine until one night we had a very, very, very big altercation.
Oh, yeah.
It was over a young man she
Mm-hmm.
had been communicating with during her
Her marriage.
marriage.
Correct.
Okay, during her 3-year marriage, whom we knew for a fact, for an absolute fact,
100%.
got in between her marriage.
Correct.
Okay, and I just want to leave it at that, just for his protection. He is a young man, and but we know for a fact that he tried to get in between her and her husband. So Angelo just told her, say, look, you cannot communicate with this young man while you're staying in our home.
While you're in our home, correct.
Yeah.
I mean, there are rules in life. You know, I have to obey the rules, and so do everybody else. At least I thought that until we started talking about this story that we're going to that we've been sharing.
So Angelo told her not to communicate with this man while she was in our home. So she ignored this. Really ignored this. So Angelo, you got so upset, you started throwing her stuff outside.
I said, you can't stay here if you're not going to adhere to some of the rules that we have. Yeah. And they're not that difficult. All it was, I don't want you communicating with these people. And so...
Well, this one
person, right.
One young man,
right, that I knew got in between her marriage. Right. You know, that he was very destructive and very divisive in her relationship with her husband.
I mean, it was...
And we're Christian. We believe that, you know what? Let no man separate what he has joined together. So God joined you together. You don't let anybody in there, not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not a friend, nobody, not your job, not your money, not your fears, not your intimidations. Nothing should ever get in between your marriage. It's between you and God. Yeah, that's it.
It's a sacred thing.
It's a very sacred thing. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of marriage?
Yeah, right.
You know, but hold on. I'm a father. And now I'm starting to see what my wife saw. It was building up in me. And, you know, and I'm going to use the word alleged until the very end, because it's no longer alleged as far as I'm concerned. You can come after me. It's not alleged. Okay, this is facts. This is the truth. There is no other side to this story. Okay, this is the side of my daughter, my son, my family. In fact, what took place that night in that argument between my daughter and I, and my wife and my son, had all to do with the Petrucci's. Had nothing to do with a pastor, with a friend, with a mother, or nobody. This was a private argument and discussion
in our home.
Right. In our home. Okay, it's like I believe in taking care of family business by your family. You know, if we need help, outside assistance, I'll call a friend or I'll call somebody who I trust. But I'm not going to allow somebody to come in and be divisive in our family. It's not going to happen.
This is between us and our daughter,
right?
And our son.
And you know, and it's funny because Luke 12:2-3 talks about what's in darkness will come to light. And I promise you, it came to light. Not only then, but it's the light is shining brighter every day as we share the story with each other. We just see how God is moving in this. and how God is showing us you're not wrong here, and you need to share this story. Somebody else is dealing with the same thing. We're not the only ones, okay? And ultimately, little babies are at stake, people. Little babies.
So after the argument finally died down, guys, this was very, very ugly. It was
It
a
wasn't fun.
terrible, terrible argument, and a lot of bad words were used.
I used a
Just gonna
very
say
abusive
that. I'm
language.
just going to say that.
I did use abusive language. I did. And I repented
So
and said I was sorry to God, and I said I was sorry to my daughter.
yeah, yes,
Okay.
you did.
And,
You did.
but
And she said she forgave you.
but
Yeah,
I want to say this though. What is a father supposed to do?
yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
okay. No, go ahead.
yeah.
Go to Alabama with your new father, your friend, whatever. No, that's not what a real father does.
Yeah.
You know what? I was
Yeah.
a bad father for a long time because I allowed a predator into our lives. I was responsible. You know what, John 10, the thief cometh but to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what the enemy does. This is all about the devil. We're trying to destroy the devil and what he's doing, not only in our lives, but in yours. We got to pay attention. We got to open our eyes to the truth.
Everything that we were trying to do
Right.
was to protect her.
100%.
Everything that we
Wait
were
a
trying
minute.
was just to protect
Who loves her more than me and you? And her husband at the time. Okay? But we absolutely would kill for our daughter. Okay? And I promise you, anybody hurts my daughter, hurts me. Okay? And it'll be dealt with in time. Believe me. God will deal with it.
God will deal with it. Right. So after the argument died down just a little bit, we all asked her to please come back inside. You know? Come
Including me.
back inside. You did.
3 times.
Our son did. All of a sudden, around midnight, the man shows up, had driven all the way from Huntsville, Alabama, and is in front of our home. Okay? So she had called him to overhear.
Actually, he was on the phone during the argument.
Yes, he was on the phone. She got him on the phone. I don't know, to prove what? I don't know. And I mean, we were just like, this is absolutely out of control. You were so distraught
I couldn't even talk.
that this man showed up again. That you stayed inside the house, and that I was outside the house with my robe on in the middle of the night. And as soon as he pulled up, I said, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" I just couldn't believe it.
This is a family argument.
Right. This is a family affair.
We were never going to let our daughter stay outside.
Of course
that was never going to happen.
We were never going to let her stay outside. So here's what I said. It's just me and the man and our daughter in front of the house. And I said, "What are you doing here?" He was kind of nervous, and he said,
"Oh yeah."
He goes, "Oh, helping out a friend."
Helping out a friend.
And I said, "Are you a friend or are you a Christian?"
Ooh, good question.
And he paused. He didn't know what to say, and he half-heartedly said, "A Christian." So as they drove away, they actually drove away. He drove away with her. I yelled, "She is brainwashed." Because I don't know what had been going on at this point, but I said she has somehow been poisoned against us. She left our home on September 27th, 2023, on my mother's birthday. Okay, she had just turned 23. So right before the man took our daughter to Huntsville, Alabama, Angelo asked our son. He said, "Do you want to go with them?"
Why? Because I said, "Look, this man obviously cares about our children, right? We have 2, not 1. We have 2." So I handed him his computer and I said, "Want to go with this guy?" And I handed him the computer and he said, "No." And I said, then I hugged him. I said, that's fine. Stay here with your mom and dad. If we're so toxic, if we're so toxic as he put it, this predator, as he put it, that he fed our daughter, telling her over and over that your mom and dad are toxic. Okay, if we're so toxic, why is our son still here?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. Why? How we know that.
Anyway, but they drove off, and you know what? I used foul language, and at that moment, I don't really believe I was a Christian. Okay, because you know what? The Bible says, "Be angry, but sin not," and I did sin. I sinned against God.
And again, you'll do anything for your children, to protect your children.
Let me tell you something.
We're in protection mode.
Let me just say this. What father or mother wouldn't fight to the death for their child? See, this person doesn't have a child. Yeah. Okay? But what I'm saying is, and that's not my fault, but you can't steal somebody else's child. You have to go get your own. Okay? Get married and have a child. Don't steal somebody else's child. That's not your property. It's God's property.
Yeah. This man never got her the apartment, okay?
No
in
way.
Huntsville, Alabama.
That was never going to happen.
Instead, he had her living in his home a year and 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Our daughter stopped communicating with us.
Yep.
After this man took her to Huntsville, Alabama, to his home.
And hold on, I remember as we're sitting here, I remember I had to communicate when they first got down there. About a few days went by, and I reached out to him. I said, please let us know how our daughter's doing. You know what? And he promised me he would keep me posted, that he promised that he would take care of her. He promised me that. And he said, I'll communicate this with you to let you know how she's doing. I'll keep you updated. Well, after that week, there was no update.
That never happened.
That never happened. There was never an update, you know, and it just progressively got worse.
So 5 months after that, on February 22nd, 2024, a person reaches out to us on social media that we didn't know. It was a young woman.
Wow.
And for her protection, we will call her Lisa, and we will call her friend Sally. Okay?
Lisa and Sally. Nice. Yeah.
Lisa, at the time, is 18 years old, and Sally is younger, 17 years old.
Correct.
According to them, so she's reaching out to me. I don't know who it is that's reaching out to me.
Right.
But she gets a hold of us and she private messages us. And according to them, now here's the story that she told us, okay? Lisa and Sally. They were both invited on a beach weekend by this man, again, now in his 60s, and with our daughter, who was 23, okay? The man said our daughter could invite 2 girls, not boys.
No boys.
Okay? 2 girls, specifically 2 girls, but not boys. Okay? This is what they said. To a beach weekend in the Gulf Shores. So Lisa and her friend Sally had just returned from this beach weekend. This is a year ago in February. And she was trying to reach out to us. So here's what she said.
I just want to say this, Veronica. During this time, our daughter didn't communicate with us because we were toxic. So these girls knew that Viviana was not communicating with Angela and Veronica, mom and dad, because, for them to seek us out to tell us what happened is amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
Huge, huge, huge.
Huge.
So here's what she said in her private, some of what she said. I'm only going to say some of what she said in this private message to us. She says, I know your daughter through working at a coffee shop. I just have a lot of questions because I'm worried about her. So she says about our daughter, she is a beautiful girl with a beautiful personality and she's never been a bad friend. The reason I'm worried about her is because while I was at the beach, I asked the man from Huntsville if I could send pictures to myself that he had took of us. When I went to his camera roll to
Mm.
send pictures to us, I saw many underaged girls' photos in his phone acting and saying very provocative things.
Mm.
And knowing that our daughter lives with this man scares me a little bit. However, I was too scared to say anything. So, this is what she witnessed. She said he calls her kisses, and she always asks for his approval when wearing very sexy things. So, he encourages her to wear very sexy things. She goes on to say, Lisa says she wants to stay with this man because she believes it's her only way out.
Wow.
She said when he dies, she'll get all of his things and house and car. And she said it's the only way she feels like she can be set for life. And I'm worried that this man is a very manipulative person and she doesn't realize some things. So, this is an 18-year-old talking about our 23-year-old daughter.
And she saw numerous photos. Like she said, 30 underage, between 13 and 9 years old. Let's be very clear. This is
Yes.
not alleged. This is the truth. Why would
Right.
okay?
Why would
Why
she
would
lie?
they lie?
Why would she lie?
Question. That's the question I have for you. Why would this girl lie? Why would she seek us out on social media? Because you don't know Angela and Veronica, because our daughter doesn't want to communicate with us. So those girls knew what Viviana thought of her and I, her mom and dad,
Yeah.
because of what this man brainwashed her into thinking.
So the first thing I did is I showed her a photo of this man to confirm his identity. So here was her response. She says, "Yes, ma'am, that is him.
Yep.
All this makes so much more sense now. Since I didn't want to be suspicious, I quickly looked through them with another friend of mine, again, the younger girl.
17.
Okay?
Yeah.
And pretended nothing happened in case of harm.
Because she was afraid.
These girls were getting really, really, really scared. She said, the girls look anywhere from 9 to 13. I saw pictures in a provocative manner, but since I was in the car and only sending pictures to myself, I couldn't be too long.
No.
She says one of the little girls had in text saying, "I'm horny," with her breast pushed up, and another girl was calling him daddy while biting her lip. And I'm sorry to be so graphic. She says, "These are the worst I saw because I didn't want to make it obvious." So these girls are really scared at this point.
And I want you to know we have this in audio by their permission.
She said, she went on to say, "I'm hoping I can talk some kind of sense into our daughter."
Correct.
Which I have been working on for a while, considering she's a grown woman and this man still treats her like a 12-year-old. She says, "It's always given me a strange vibe." There were a few nude pictures of underage girls, looked around 14 to 16. I'm not sure. This is what Sally said that our daughter said to her. She said, our daughter had told her as we sat in a restaurant with the man sitting right next to the man that he was her best friend, boyfriend, and father all in one. And he had been that way to her since she was 10 years old.
And let me share this. Again, this is an audio. And if you hear them speak, they weren't squirrely. They weren't, you know, you can tell when somebody's lying. You can tell when somebody's trying to hide the truth. They weren't hiding nothing. They were very clear. They were very decisive. They were very to the point of what happened that weekend. It was like amazing, really, to hear them the way they described this monster, as far as I'm concerned. Again, I'm a
Yeah.
father. How dare you? Okay.
So we also had a phone conversation with both the girls that confirms all of her texts to us and much more, okay, that we cannot even share on here, okay, because we want to protect,
We want to protect these girls.
yes, protect the
Absolutely.
girls.
And
So
we made that
Lisa,
promise to them.
but I do want to share one thing that we had, that we spoke, and that she spoke in the phone conversation, that she told us, Lisa told us, that the man told them that we were toxic and that his heart breaks for our
Oh,
daughter.
sure it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that this was very interesting, considering our daughter's attitude towards us for many years. Okay. And I just want to give some proof about our relationship with our daughter and how we were struggling with this in a song that I wrote in 2017 called Slay the Dragon. Okay. So we were really going through it with our daughter,
Oh, yeah.
and why she was incredibly so rebellious towards us. And so now we have a better picture of why that was.
Right. We understand her
Yeah.
pain. We
It was like,
understand what she's has gone through. And again, I am sorry to my daughter
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like
and my wife
everything when Lisa
and my
sent
son.
sent this text to us. I was like, oh my gosh, now I understand. Now I understand
Mm,
my daughter
mm.
and what's been going on and why she's acted this way and why she's acted this way towards us. And it was like, wow.
And this, you have
So
to understand, our daughter is she's a bright eyed. I don't even know how to describe her, how wonderful she is. She
yeah,
really
yeah,
is
yeah,
the light of our lives, like our son. My son and daughter are the light of, they light up my world. And they're, I don't care about their singing, about their jobs, but I care about them as people, that they don't suffer, that they have to deal with the monsters that are in it.
she was a bright light, but that light was put out
Oh yeah.
by
Oh
this
yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk very quickly.
Sure, hon.
Where that grooming is when someone builds a relationship,
Mm,
trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so that they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. Children and young people who are groomed can be sexually abused, exploited, or trafficked. Now, here are some grooming tactics: pretending to be younger, giving advice or showing understanding. I understand you more than your parents understand you. Buying gifts, giving special attention to these children, taking them on trips, outings, and or holidays. Groomers try and isolate children from their friends and family, the
mm,
people who love them, making them feel dependent on them and giving the groomer power
mm,
and control over them. So they have the power, they gain the power and control over your child. Groomers use blackmail to make a child feel guilt and shame, and they introduce the whole idea of secrets to control, frighten, and intimidate. And here's a quote from a counselor and licensed therapist: trafficked victims tend to not see themselves as trafficked because the perpetrators are so good at grooming and making the victim think that they care for them. Young brains, young people cannot distinguish the difference between love and perpetration. Okay,
mm-hmm.
so a young child cannot understand, especially if you've groomed them from very young. So this is from a
Go ahead.
professional who works with sex offenders. And he said, be leery of men that are single that like to entertain children.
Single.
Be careful of people that show more interest in your children than in you.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like seeing a man hanging around a playground, but you don't see them with any children. Most molestations happen from relatives or a family friend. What these predators do is grooming. Child molesters tend to be friendly, engaging, nice, and likable. They earn the trust of the parents and kids. Sometimes they work hard at getting time alone with the child. For example, they act like they're doing you a favor.
Right.
Normal adults chit chat with children for a few minutes, then turn their attention to the adults. But if a grown up prefers to spend time playing with the kids, that is a red flag. Tell children, guys, tell your children not to keep any secrets. Have
Take the
open
phones away,
have open
the
communication.
iPads away, computers. Monitor everything.
He said, have open communication with your children. Talk to your children about what inappropriate touching is. Set clear boundaries for your family. And we thought we had done those things. Okay? So on February 7th, we released a video praying for this man called Prayer for Our Enemies. We originally had recorded this on April 21st, 2024, when Lisa had a couple months after she reached out. So because of this video, on February 17th, we received a cease and desist letter, which was written on February 13th as a result of this video. And on the morning of February 13th, we received a threatening message from this man on Instagram. We looked quickly at what he follows on Instagram.
Well, let me just go back a little bit here. See, realize this, that in this world, all you get from the authorities are, where's your evidence? What's your proof? Prove it. Okay? If you see, they don't understand having a child like my wife has discernment. My wife has wisdom. My wife is prophetic. So she sees things in a different way because she's a woman. And a woman, she gave birth to these children. So there's a connection that will never be broken because she gave birth to these kids. Not me, not another man can dictate or tell what happens in that situation. And my wife, I didn't listen. If I had listened, this all could have been avoided. I share with you men, okay, watch, listen to your wife. If she sees a red flag, listen to her. She's not being a nag. No, she's being a help. She's trying to help you. If I had just heeded the warning, we wouldn't be doing this video, okay? But you know what? God will have his way with this person. Believe me, okay? But anyway, to make my point is that, oh, you have to have evidence. You got to have proof. Okay, wait a minute.
So that's what we're doing. We're sharing all of our evidence and all of our proof and the truth.
My wife and I went away to minister, singing, and on the way home, my wife read the threatening note on Instagram. What is it? Instagram.
Right. And so he sends the cease and desist letter.
Hold on. And my prayer has always been, God, give us proof. Show us. Give us the evidence. We can't, because these little girls are at stake. These little babies are at stake.
Yes.
We have a responsibility as people, as human beings, to protect.
Yeah. So we looked quickly at what he follows on Instagram, and it just further confirms everything that we have just told you, this story that we have just told you. Angelo is still like shaken by what he saw
I could,
on the Instagram.
my wife says, I don't even want to send this to you. And I said, you have to send. And I told her, I said, I need everything that's on that site. I need everything. I need all those photos of those little babies. And some of them say, what do they say? Managed by
accounts managed by mom.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're talking little babies here. We're not talking
Yeah.
about, okay, wait a minute. If I'm a single man at 66 years old, okay, I'm not looking at 12-year-olds or even 9-year-olds. No, I'd be looking for a wife my age, 65. I mean, I wouldn't be looking for young babies. And that's all you see. And you know what? He can take it down if he wants. The reality is we got all the photos, buddy.
It's very shocking.
We got them all.
And it's very...
And, when I've talked to people, they go, oh, well, that's legal. Wait a minute. Legal? So it's illegal for an old pig to look at photos of little babies. And you're going to tell me that's legal? No, it's not. Okay, it may be legal in the United States, but it's not legal before God's eyes. Because you have lust in your eyes. You've already committed adultery. Let me tell you something. Right. That is unacceptable for a man to be looking at those kind of photos. Take them down, buddy.
And it is a crime when it's little children.
But he can take them down all he wants because we have all the photos, and they will go where God wants them to go.
So we want to tell you the name of this man. This man's name is Chris Drake, also known as Chip or John Drake, who lives in the Huntsville, Alabama area, and he's now in his mid-60s. So please download this video or take a screenshot because in case this video gets taken down, okay? So I want to also share something that Child Protective Services shared on their website. It says all persons reporting suspected abuse or neglect, whether required by law to report or not, and members of the clergy are required by law.
That's right.
Okay, to report suspected child abuse.
Not even proven, just suspected.
Okay? Are presumed to be acting in good faith. They are, by law, immune from legal action, civil or criminal, that might otherwise be taken. Thus, you have full protection in the event someone should seek to initiate action against you.
Yeah, and we are responsible as pastors. It's not an option, okay? Little babies are at stake here, not just our daughter, other babies. Why did my daughter leave? If she agreed with all these photos, why did she stay with this predator? Because she realized she had to get out of there, okay?
So what do we want to accomplish by sharing this very awful story?
Intimate story.
Very awful story, this heartbreaking story that has happened to our family, that has hit our family. So on January 25th, 2025, our daughter finally got away from this man, or left this man's home, I should say, that she was staying at for a year and 4 months, okay? All this time, the man never reached out to let us know that our daughter was okay.
Not once.
She still does not speak with us, okay? So we believe, after hearing this story, I mean, and you can be the judge, we believe that this man has poisoned her against us throughout these 14 years of grooming.
100%.
Okay? Now, I want to say this man has not been convicted of a crime. He has not been arrested. But we need to inform the public that we believe he is a danger to society. He came in church and did
He's
this.
a wolf in sheep clothing. They come in to steal your children. I promise you, you know what? It's extremely revealing to Church of America. They need to wake up.
So we want him to be apprehended for his crimes. against our daughter. We hope to see other victims come forward. We hope they will
Mhm.
have the courage to come forward if there's
Mhm.
other victims. So far, there are 3 witnesses of this material on his phone, and we believe them.
And hold
Okay?
on. What God gave me was Instagram photos of this guy following little babies. How in the world is a grown man following little babies and you call it legal? No, it's not. You know what? I'll stand before any jury, any judge, and I'll say, is this what you think is right? This person follows little babies and you say it's legal or it's okay? No, it's not okay. It's not okay. And I'll tell you what, other fathers would have taken different measures because I've spoken this story to many men and their response was completely different than what I did. I took the stand that God is my avenger.
Amen.
He will
That's
take,
right.
let me tell you something. You mess with
Yes.
God's people, and God will take his vengeance upon
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
He laughs at your end. Believe me.
So, with all that we have seen, with all that we have experienced since 2009, okay, we don't have any doubts about this. We want to warn parents how these perpetrators operate and come into churches. The church is one of the biggest covers for these criminals because no one suspects them.
That's right.
This man talked Bible and was a big financial giver at these churches, from
Mm-hmm.
what we heard, okay? Only for the purpose of working his way into our family's life to groom our daughter. We've done everything that we can do so far. So we're praying for this man, as you saw.
Right.
You saw it in this video.
That's right.
We have prayed for this man. We're praying for this man to repent and to turn himself into the authorities so that there will be no more victims. Mark 9:42 says, "And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me,
Hmm.
it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were cast into the sea." Please be respectful in your comments. We need your support and prayers more than ever. Please share this video please share this video while you can with everyone you know so that this does not happen again to any more innocent children.
Because when you stand for righteousness, when you stand for truth, when you stand for justice, God will come through. And he came through for me with that evidence. And there's more of that evidence that has not been revealed. So I just promise you, do the right thing, sir. Do it. And anybody out there, if please have some sympathy and empathy for these little babies. They can't defend themselves. They can't protect themselves. You see it all the time. It's time for you to say, you know what, we need to put this into law. We cannot allow child pornography on phones, iPads, computers. It needs to be shut down immediately. Okay? Pornography needs to be illegal. Okay? And if these perverts want it, they can go to the pervert shops that they go to here in Tennessee. Okay? But I'm telling you right now, you need to stand up and do what's right. Do what's right. And it's very difficult for my wife and I to sit here and share this, still to this day, not being able to communicate with our beautiful daughter. You know what? And
So guys, keep us in your prayers.
please,
Keep us in your prayers.
bless you.
Our family, pray for this man. We love you all. God bless.
Bless you.